How's everybody doing out there? This is Duane Fletcher with Fletcher Community Media. Here on Election Day, I'm doing a quick podcast on Election Day. Uh, Everybody, make sure you go out and vote. Go out and vote. Exercise your rights. Exercise your freedoms. Go out and vote. Um, Many of you may know me by some of the books that you see me around town. I talk about these on my podcast. Talk about these on my web pages, uh, and I also do public speaking at some of the city council meetings at the time, depending on the if the subject matter is affecting the town and stuff like that. So basically, if you get a chance to check it out on Blurb, blurb.com, blurb.com under author name Duane Fletcher. Blurb.com on the author name Duane. These are some really good material. These are three of my newest books. Um, they're actually about a year or two old, but they're still the newest thing. I have more stuff coming out. Battle of Fletcher. This talks about uh, Napoleon Bonaparte's campaign against Russia 200 years ago, in contrast to what's going on in Ukraine right now. This is a really good book. If I had to categorize it, I would say it's kind of like a Indiana and Jones, Raiders of the Lost Ark, like urban action adventure. It's a really good book. Check it out, blurb.com. Um, the Nibble Next. It talks about these two Russian hitmen that came to town one time. Okay, and basically they caused all kind of problems in the town. They started all kind of foolishness. This is a really good book, really good book. Check it out. I won't spoil the ending for you. But if you get a chance to check it out, The Nibble Next uh, by Duane Fletcher. It's also on blurb.com. It's a really good book. And the one that's causing all the controversy, The Black Hand. This is a really good book. Also, this talks about a tennis pro that allegedly doubles as an assassin for the KGB. It's a really good book. I actually got a part two to this. In this book, these the people in the book were basically they were after the president. And the part two, which I have that's out now. Let's see, Black Hand Part Two, Duane Fletcher. The Child in the Storm, The Black Hand Act Two, The Child in the Storm, by Duane Fletcher. As you can see, it's on blurb.com. And part two, and part one, let's see. Okay. In part one, they're after the president in this one, and part two, they're after the vice president. And this is a really good book because you might want to check out the dialogue in it because basically a couple of weeks ago, Florida was hit by two storms back to back, and Governor DeSantis and Vice President Harris began to argue over some of the issues about the storms and stuff like that. And there is a very similar type of Florida governor, vice president argument. Very similar type of argument in this book. It's a really good book. The Black Hand, Act Two, The Child in the Storm by Duane Fletcher. Okay. So, and also I got a part three coming out. I'm about eight chapters in. Eight chapters in on a part two right now. So the book is coming along, just putting a lot of little stuff in it. You know, with some of these type of arguments, like it's like just when you think the controversy is over, they find some kind of new argument that shocks everybody. Um, and the dialogue is still coming in. And basically, I'm writing out action novels out of a bunch of the stuff. So if you get a chance to check it out on blurb.com, BLURB, blurb.com, under author name Duane Fletcher, DuaneFletcher. Okay. That being said, let's start talking about the election again. Okay. All right. The election is here. And today is election day. I've already voted. I voted for Vice President Harris. I think that she would make a very, very good president. I've been in a situation like this in the past where one of my aunts became president of a Methodist Medical Center, and she was the first Black woman to become president of Methodist Medical Center. And that was like a really big issue back then, like back in the early 90s. And, what the thing is you have to remember is that it's a lot of people that are not used to blacks or women being in power. There's constant arguments on the internet and in real life about women not being as paid as much, or women have to do more of the work than men, and white men making more money, and blah 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 blah. But the thing is that the bottom line is, uh, if you need a person that's going to not fall into the same some of the pitfalls that President Trump is falling into, basically you're going to have to elect Kamala Harris as a president. In my personal opinion, President Trump has will have no time to focus on um, internal issues, infrastructure issues. The lion's share of his time in office would be to support his own defense, legal defense, basically. He has many, many, many different cases against him, uh, and that are still ongoing, felonies, some of them, the stuff that happened at the Capitol, lies that they told about the election, last election, where they said somebody stole the election from them and stuff like that. The thing is, like I said, if you were from Florida, you would. This is basically ground zero for a lot of the stuff that's going on. I talked about that before, where there's a lot of controversial issues coming out of Florida. They trained 9/11 terrorists here twice. The second group of them never made it onto the plane. They ended up getting in a shootout at a military base in Pensacola, where they were being trained to fly again. Okay. Somebody stole the election. Where'd that come from? Florida. That came from Florida also. Um, and then there was recently the New York Open tennis match where Governor DeSantis uh, lobbied lobbied for this Serbian tennis unvaccinated Serbian tennis pro to come and play tennis, and everyone got sick. Where'd that come from? Florida. It came from Florida. There's always constantly some kind of foolishness going on down here. So, um, what I did, I started writing about some of it. And I will tell you that you need a change. We need a change from what's been going on because, like I said, uh, he's not going to have time to focus on America. His whole entire 4 years in office would be focused on himself and trying to defend himself from the many different cases against him. Not only that, but let's talk about taxes and tariffs also. Okay. Uh, the stock market channels, Bloomberg, CNBC, they basically um, trying to warn Americans about, because like don't get caught up in the hype. Um, they were saying when Trump and Biden ran against each other, they were saying that the S&P was going to crash. Oh my God, the S&P is going to crash if Trump's not elected. And they focused on it, and basically what happened? The S&P never crashed. As a matter of fact, it just kept going, even though Trump lost to Biden. Okay, so the S&P, that was a myth, and it was basically something that they were just saying. Now, this time around, they're saying that it's gas prices. Okay, they're saying that the price of oil and the price of gas is going to go up to $15 a gallon if Trump is not elected. That's what they're saying. And matter of fact, Trump said it himself on one of his latest rallies. You could look it up for yourself. You don't have to take my word for it. But Trump is quoted as saying that uh, the price of gas will go up to $15 a gallon. Um, Now, the only thing I can think of that would make something like that happen is if the Saudis became angry and started cutting off the supply of oil to different countries and stuff like that. Um, as a matter of fact, uh, Congress is supposed to be investigating stuff like this right now. Congress is investigating uh, Jared Kushner, Trump's son-in-law. They're investigating Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, for some kind of land deal he did in Serbia with the Saudis' money, investment money. Um, Possibly, if he stole the money from the Saudis, they might become angry. You know, that it's possible that that might happen. Then the price of oil would shoot up because of they want to go to war with Serbia or they want to go to war with somebody else over there because of what happened. But um, it's possibly that that might be what's in the works. That's because Congress is supposed to be investigating it. I'm hoping that if that's what's going on, they can stop it before it ends up in a World War III situation. And maybe we should all be paying attention to this. So, like I said, don't take my word for it. Look it up for yourself. Um, look it up for yourself. Let's see. Jared Kushner, Congress investigation, Saudi land deal. Okay, so Kushner, the House Oversight Committee is investigating him. Congress, which is Congress, the investigative arm of Congress is called their Oversight Committee. And basically, the investigative arm of Congress is investigating Mr. Kushner. But this is Florida, and down here, they got it like he's the one supposed to be investigating something. And because like I said, this is Florida, so but it's a bunch of little foolishness that goes on like that. But Congress is investigating him. Yes, they are, and it's right here, and you can look it up for yourself. Okay, so um, but hopefully they'll nip this in the bud, before it's because it's going to looks appears that he has stolen $2 billion from the Saudi royal family or one of the Saudi investment banks or something like that. Um, then he invested the money in Serbia. I don't know if you know anything about Serbia, but Serbia has a history of abuse towards Arabic and Muslim people in Bosnia, in Kosovo, and things like that. So um, I don't think it's going to end too well because he's already talking about the gas prices. The gas prices going up to $15 a gallon. Why? What did you do? Oh, well, he stole $2 billion from the Saudis, and now they're mad and they're cutting off oil supplies and stuff like that. That's probably what, if you had to define it, that's what I point at. But moving on. Let's get past that. So, me personally, I'm voting for Kamala Harris. The stock market channel also has been talking about these tariff and taxes that basically going to disrupt the American economy. Uh, uh, so I think the last number that was quoted was like $4,000. Like whatever you spend on gas, groceries, rent, car note, insurance is going to go up by about $4,000 a year if Trump gets in office and begins to put tariffs and on foreign goods and things like that. So I'm hoping that Kamala Harris is winning. So um, speaking of the stock market and things like that, there's some other issues that's come out recently, and it has to do with Berkshire Hathaway. Berkshire Hathaway is a very large brokerage house, one of the biggest in America, owned by Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger. I don't know if you ever heard of these guys. These guys are like the dynamic duo of Wall Street. Um, Charlie Munger, uh, Warren Buffett, Charlie Munger.
According to Wikipedia, Charles Thomas Munger was an American businessman, investor, and philanthropist.
Okay, let's see, images. Here they go, sitting right next to each other. But I think this is a picture of them when they were younger, or like back in the 60s or 70s or something. And let's see, this is a picture of them in modern day, Warren Buffett and Charlie, but they own one of the biggest brokerages houses in America. And recently, they have basically gone after the tech sector. They've dumped all of their Bank of America stock. They dumped all of their Apple stock. They dumped all of their Nvidia stock. They dumped all of, and they don't like Tesla at all. And basically, this is technology. Now, if you know anything about these two guys, it has to do with control. Okay, they have made so much money over the years that basically they have controlled entire industries, not by making a better product to compete with them, but by manipulating their stock. Okay. Um, and when it comes to technology, I believe that that shouldn't be the standard anymore. They should not be allowed to control these different companies by manipulating the stock and stuff like that. Um, the future is the future and should not be manipulated. Um, and hopefully, like some other investors will be able to see past some of their ill will towards technology. Um, Mr. Buffett is being quoted many times as genuine hatred for Tesla. He does not like Tesla. But I mean, me personally, if gas goes up to $15 a gallon, I'm buying a Tesla. Okay. But Mr. Buffett has been quoted as saying that he does not like Tesla and things like that many times. It's no secret that, but it appears to me that people like Mr. Munger and Mr. Buffett, uh, they are control freaks at this stage of their lives and this stage of their careers, and and they indoctrinate control by any means necessary. They want to control these different companies, and because they're used to it. They're used to not only controlling one company, but controlling an entire industry. They're not just used to controlling Coca-Cola. They're used to controlling Pepsi and root beer, different the Sprite. They're used to controlling a bunch of different sodas that people and soda makers. Not just Coca-Cola by their one product or by their one stock. And that's how they do it. It's not they're coming up with a better product. They're coming up with different ways to gremlinize these people's stock and stuff like that. And hopefully, the American stock market people can start to see through it. I know the people at Bank of America were just targeted by Mr. Buffett. Bank of America, they start selling off all of their Bank of America stock, selling it off. And it was like, every 5 minutes, they would sell off another $100 billion worth of Bank of America stock. And Bank of America took the posture of, wait a minute, what did I do at first? Wait a minute, what did I do? At first, Bank of America took the posture because they felt as though they had done nothing wrong. They felt as though their fundamentals were still the same. So why was the Berkshire Hathaway selling off all of this stock? Well, basically, if you know anything about uh, Mr. Munger and Mr. Buffett, that you don't have to have done anything wrong. They sometimes they want the stock to crash so that they can buy in again at a cheaper price. They want the stock to crash from $200 a share down to $50 a share. They want it to seem like there's no hope But if the fundamentals are still the same, the company's still good. Okay. And who pointed this out was one of the Bank of America, one of the Bank of America analysts, market analysts, basically broke it down as such. Excuse me. Um, he broke it down and said it like this. Well, Apple. Speaking of Apple, and speaking of, I think he was specifically talking about Nvidia. But speaking of Nvidia, the fundamentals are still the same. Okay, they were saying that these other two didn't like investing in stock like that. But it's not just that they don't like that one company. It's a trend that has to do with technology. Basically, they're from the school of hard knocks, the age-old school of hard knocks that has to do with, you know, they can just walk in one day and say, "Oh, sorry, Mister uh, Guy, we just lost 50% of your pension fund. Sorry." And they used to dealing with blue collar people that don't know that much about the stock market. And the guy's got to make an appointment to talk to him. And then when he finally gets in there, either his stock tip is cold or either he just lost 50%. So, sorry. Oh, well, sorry. We just lost 50% of your pension fund. Sorry about that. That's what he used to dealing with blue collar people that he can tell something like that. The people at these other companies are so smart. They would not listen to that. They would basically begin to dig to see what happened. Um, and that's what it appears to me that he's used to uh, dealing with lesser intelligent crowd of investors that he can manipulate and tell anything. And the tech savvy people are not listening to Berkshire Hathaway. Tech savvy people are buying up Tesla. If it falls, Tesla they buy it up anyway. If basically what he would do if he liked Tesla, but he doesn't like Tesla. If Nvidia falls, they buy it up. If Apple falls, they buy it up. But one of the Bank of America analysts finally stood up and broke it down and said, "Look, the fundamentals of Nvidia are still the same. Where you have uh, NVIDIA has the best customers for their product. Okay. Of the customers that buy computer chips, they have the best customers that buy thousands of computer chips at a time. Um, of the, let's see, and if that's true of NVIDIA, it's true of Apple, it's true of Tesla also. Um, there's no there's no market changes in the company. The fundamentals are still the same that they have the best customers. Apple computer Apple computers, Apple iPhones. Apple has the best customers for their product. And if you think about an iPhone costs what, like on the average $1,000, $1,200 on an average of $1,200 now. Um, so much so that it became a fashion statement to own an Apple iPhone at one time, and people were buying them up every year. They couldn't wait till the new Apple iPhone came. I got the Apple 12. Well, I just bought the Apple 13. Well, I just bought the Apple 14. And it became a fashion statement to own an Apple iPhone. Um, and can you name another uh, tech tech product that became a fashion statement like that? I don't think you could. As a matter of fact, so if Apple has the best customers, meaning that they have a customer that will go out and spend $1,000 once a year, so he can say he's got the new phone with the new gadgets, with the new app, with the new functions. You know, Apple has the best. Tesla has the best customers for their product. Um, they have people that can spend $40,000 on a new car. At base price, I think a Tesla is not that expensive. It's around $40,000 at base price. Some people say it's lower, some people say it's higher. Um, but Tesla has the best customers, which is like a wealthy group of people that are environment conscious, and they will spend that money to go get a Tesla. I mean, me personally, like I said, if gas goes up to $15 a gallon, I'm buying a Tesla, dude. I mean, that's absurd. Hopefully it won't. I'm hoping that Congress will get involved enough. The investigative arm of Congress, the their oversight committee will get involved in and determine what kind of booby trap the Trump camp has placed on the price of oil and diffuse it, because that's what they had to do one time before. This is what they had to do one time before about the S&P. The S&P 500 was expected to crash if Trump was not elected. Biden won. The S&P didn't crash. Okay, so but anyway, these companies, these are tech companies, and I think it has to do with control issue. Basically, like I said, Mr. Buffett is used to controlling an entire industry at a time by what he says or how he trades. But 9 times out of 10, you don't have to have done anything wrong. It's just basically he wants your stock to crash so that he can buy in when it crashes and own 50% of your company or 75% of your company. Um, it might be specifically slandered specifically for him to have a peppermint to freshen his breath with. Um, and it's possible that that's what he might, because he's going after all of the top tech people. He's just dumped all his Apple. He just dumped all his Nvidia. He's constantly talking about how he hates Tesla. I think it has to do with control, not more or less of what these companies have done wrong. It's just the fact that these are smarter investors nowadays, and the people that operate the companies are smarter nowadays because they are computer science engineers and stuff like that. And and hopefully the market trend will arise where they can see past the old school guy's opinion, see past the old school guy's opinion, and formulate their own opinion that has to do with the fundamentals of the company. Because like the Bank of America guy said, hey, I wouldn't worry about Nvidia because the fundamentals are still the same. They have the best customers for their product. Tesla has the best customers for their product also. Apple has the best customers for their product also. Um, so hopefully they'll get past it. And not to shot, not no disrespect to Mr. Munger or Mr. Buffett. They have their ways, but you just have to learn how to bob and weave with the different times that they swing at the other people in the market. They don't mean any harm. It's just the nature of the beast. And that's what he can do. He can tell a big ass lie, and because Berkshire Hathaway is $300,000 a share, everyone has to listen to him. And then somebody's company begins to sink and sink and sink and sink and sink, and then he can buy it up himself for little or nothing, and then own half of the company for little or nothing. This is the nature of the beast. That's what they do. So you have to take it with a grain of salt. You don't have to listen to them. Like the Bank of America people said when they were targeted by Mr. Buffett recently, they said that I wouldn't worry about Nvidia. The fundamentals are still the same, and if that's true of Nvidia, the fundamentals are still the same with Tesla. The fundamentals are still the same of Apple. Apple has the best customers that possible. Apple has the best customers possible that are buying his product. That's still the same. Whether no matter what Mr. Munger and Mr. Buffett have said about it, that's still the same. Tesla has the best customer possible to be buying up Teslas. That's still the same whether Mr. Buffett likes it or not. Nvidia also has the best customers possible buying up his computer chips. They make gaming chips for like uh, what is it, PS5 or Xbox. these gaming chips are supposed to be like the best video processors. That's how they started out. They're making other computers for. They're making other chips now for computer networks, but it's still the same that they have the best customers. If the fundamentals are still the same in the company, don't jump ship just because somebody else doesn't like it. So hopefully, I'm hoping that we can, get past it, and then the market will survive all of this foolishness that's going on between them. But like I said, everybody vote. Just a quick podcast today for the election. It's election day here, and I'm hoping that all of you, within the sound of my voice, will vote for Mrs. Harris. Hopefully, she'll be our next president. President Camilla Harris. That has a nice ring to it. Um, and also, check out my books The Nibble Necks by Duane Fletcher. Let's see. The Battle of Fletcher by Duane Fletcher. And the one that's causing all the controversy, The Black Hand by Duane Fletcher. And if you get a chance to, check out part two, Black Hand, chapter two, Duane Fletcher. The Black Hand, The Black Hand, Act Two by Duane Fletcher. And if you want to right now, you can preview the book for free. You just click preview. Once you click preview, you can get it shows you the book, and then you can basically just go through it and you turn the pages with your finger, and you can preview it for free. So you can preview the book for free right now if you so choose to, because I have it unlocked so that the publishers that I talk to can read the book, can read over the book without having to send them a copy of it every time I try to talk to a publisher. That would be too cost consuming. So if you get a chance to check it out, um, Duane Fletcher BLURB.com. Okay, that's all I had to say today, folks. Vote. Everybody go out and vote. If and hopefully we'll have a new president. And me personally, I'm hoping that uh, it'll be President Camilla Harris. All right, thank y'all for tuning in. That's it. That's all I got to say today.